But at the age of 5, they actually signed me over to Epstein. Of course, we've all heard the stories about that, which are true. They're, of the teenagers that he trafficked, which is hideous. I'm not downplaying that at all. But there was a lot deeper, darker things that were going on as well.
Okay. Hey, what's up, you guys? We're back at the podcast studio, and we have an awesome guest here. We have Hope Beryl-Green. Could you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. My name is Hope Beryl-Green, and I am from Nashville, Tennessee, and I am a survivor of sex trafficking.
Wow.
Amazing.
I've been trafficked since really infancy.
No way.
Yeah, so it was normal middle-class family, looked like people, teachers in the church, and they were trafficking me in the church, they were trafficking me in the school, but nobody ever asked any questions because it looked like a perfect family. I was very suicidal and depressed, but no one asked any questions because it didn't look like a normal trafficking or abuse situation.
So this was happening in your family home?
Yes. So it goes pretty deep. They were actually involved in Illuminati, MK Ultra. So a lot of similarities to Kathy O'Brien's story, but that was their goal, really, to program me from birth to kind of be their product that they would sell over and over again, which, people don't realize there's more slavery now in this country than there has been throughout all of history. U.S. it's really the worst when it comes to sex trafficking. But at the age of 5, they actually signed me over to Epstein. Of course, we've all heard the stories about that, which are true. They're, of the teenagers that he trafficked, which is hideous. I'm not downplaying that at all. But there was a lot deeper, darker things that were going on as well. So they had a lot of underground trafficking going on. Like I said, I was 5 years old. They gave ownership to Epstein, and he would bring government officials and, royalty, just people from really throughout. I was a child, but I didn't know who was who, but you knew that they were, from all over the place. So, that was going on the whole time. And they pretty much he had told us if we were perfect enough, or we performed good enough, that we would be able to go upstairs and be around everybody else. So
you were like in the underground.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The reality is, now we're finding that everything that was conspiracy is actually true. Everything's coming out. The reality is there is underground tunnels, or we're on the island. There's a lot of military underground for programming, for really torturing and sex trafficking children. Because they hate God. It's satanic in nature. They hate God, so what better way to torment God than to hurt his children? And so they're really targeting these children to really groom them and from infancy really raise them up, and more of like, we've talked some with Rev 17, kind of like an army within the U.S. To take down the country. That's been something that over generation to generation has been going on for hundreds of years. But unfortunately, they also want to be in charge of the mountain of the church. Religion. And so they've really trained the church, we can't talk about these things.
Right.
You know,
right.
like we have to be all about love.
Yes.
Right.
And love is what rescued me. Jesus
course.
rescued me.
Of course.
But part of love is truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if we just, close our eyes and pretend like it's not happening,
Yeah.
there's children that are being left in these situations where they're in literal hell.
Yeah.
And nothing is happening. And we have the power of Jesus inside of us. Like
Yes.
we could do something.
Right.
And so my thing is, it took 31 years for me to get free from trafficking.
Okay.
And when I finally got free, and this is like a condensed version of my story, but when I finally got free, I asked the Lord, why did it take so long?
Yes.
And he said, Hope, I asked thousands of people to help you. And they were the first person to say yes to me.
Wow.
So our yes as children of the Lord, our yes can make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I want to ask you this because I told, a few friends we're going to this conference, and, a lot of them said, I know this is happening, but wow, I don't know if I could ever be there and go there and hear these stories. And I don't know if I could handle it,
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them? Because, it feels so overwhelming and just completely unbelievable,
Yes.
and hard to handle. What would you say?
Well, I think as, having the heart of Jesus, you feel the pain and the hurt that children are going through. They even thought of it. It feels like I can't fathom this.
Yeah.
But what I want people to realize, like, what if you're the resolution for somebody to get, maybe you're the person, their only hope to get free.
Right.
Maybe you're that person. Like, what would you do for the person that you love the most in the world?
Exactly.
What length would you do? I mean, Jesus went to the cross for us.
Yes.
And not out of condemnation towards anybody, but if we really feel the love of Jesus, like, there's really not a limit of what we'll do. The choices we'll make for him if we let that lead, his heart, lead, which may cause us to have to really see some hard things.
Right.
I mean, when I wrote my book, to tell the truth, the Lord said, put everything in there, Hope.
Yeah.
Like, don't leave anything out.
Right.
And, I didn't really understand at that point because I knew it would be very, very much rejected because people weren't at a place to where they could really, I guess, embrace the truth of what it was. But he said, Hope, now, if they knew they were going to be in a car accident, would they put their seatbelt on knowing that they're about to go into a car accident?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, Lord. He's like, it's the belt of truth. Like, they have to know the truth. It's not only affecting these children, it's affecting us. Every human being in this world, really, is being affected by mind control through our food, our education, the media, Hollywood. It is literally step by step trying to really take over our thought process, tell us what to think and what to feel and all of that. So not only is it, if they can't fathom looking at those things for those children that are needing someone rescued, then think about your own children.
Yeah.
Because they're at risk,
it's interesting you mentioned the church and how even the church people have got a degree of brainwashing not to talk about things. Mm-hmm. Last year, we had an event similar to this in LA. Mm-hmm. And we were going out to the biggest churches in the area, and all of them did not want our flyers, invitations, and it's just sad.
It is very sad.
I mean, they were polite about it, but it boiled down to, it's too controversial for our congregation. They might be scared and they'll, leave or do something. And I go, but this is children.
Yeah.
Right?
If we don't stand up, people that have Jesus, we have all the power of God within us. Mm-hmm. Like if we don't stand up, because, he didn't tell us to not fear, like so many times in the Bible,
right.
Mm-hmm. to lead with love.
Correct.
That's really the basis of who he is like leading with love.
Yes.
And, I used to, it used to really hurt me that people didn't want to see the truth.
Yeah.
Like it was, I've been very rejected by the church.
Yeah.
In every walk of the church, really.
Yeah.
But Jesus is always accepting me.
Amen.
And he knows every bit of my story.
Yeah.
Like all of the torture, the programming, all of that.
Yeah.
And I just think that people are afraid.
Yeah.
And I think if they would take a moment and ask Jesus, okay, what about this is making me afraid?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Lord, will you please help me not be afraid?
Yeah.
And to lead with love in this. I think he might have some healing for them, He might have some healing he wants to do in their heart.
Yeah.
So they can move forward.
Right. That's a good point.
We were talking about that exact thing, almost those exact words with a friend of ours this morning. And I'm wearing my Love Always shirt. But I love what you're saying about love is not just being nice or just overlooking or just allowing people to do whatever they want or be however they want. But love requires the truth. But love also casts out all fear.
Absolutely.
And I think love is the key. And I really feel that here is that it's all about the children. It's all about God's love for the children. And whatever that costs, we have to pay that price.
Absolutely. The people that rescued me, it didn't always look pretty.
Yeah.
It was a long battle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A long battle. And they had to stay when it was hard to stay. Mm-hmm. And love me when it was hard to love me. Mm-hmm. But it was worth it because they have a better relationship with Jesus. They have an understanding of his love more than most people have.
Yeah.
Because this is so close to his heart. And his heart bleeds and cries out for the children.
Yeah.
And I think that, the enemy has just really blinded on purpose. The people that are perpetrators literally have on purpose, they pray against churches, they target churches, they have lists of churches that are doing this work. And I think it's just going to take all of us uniting together and really having each other's back.
Yes.
And helping us through, helping each other through it.
Yeah.
Which why I'm very excited, about Pastor Dave and Cheryl, them having this, because I think this is a major key coming together, having these things throughout the U.S., and
you're talking about the I just forgot the piece of heaven.
Piece of heaven.
The piece of heaven facilities for these children. And it starts here, but you're talking about having them all throughout the U.S.
I totally think that. I think it's going to take these kind of situations, like conferences and gatherings of people that have a heart for the children to get set free,
Yeah.
and coming together in unity,
Yes.
instead of like, I have a platform and you have a platform, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, we're all like in this together, like
Yes.
family, which we are family.
That's right.
And then really going together and having these places to rescue children, because they're coming out. I mean, the time is now. This is the time.
Yeah.
The Lord wants to do this. So, I think, but I know that this is the path that He's wanting to do, and I really can't wait. I mean, this is such an answer to prayer for me. I'm been free for 21 years now, and
Wow.
it's just an answer to prayer that so many people are willing to see the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, because before we knew it was happening, but we didn't understand the pervasiveness, the scope of the problem. But it looks like now that people are, awakened to all these things that were deemed crazy before, after COVID, people kind of, their eyes got opened, and so now I think you're right. It's easier to tell your story and other
It really
people's
is.
stories.
It really is. I think through COVID, I think there was a lot of manifestation of the fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just right on the surface, and like I think, as He's always healing us, like we're always like in process of Him healing us, healing our heart and our mind, and like through that, I think He was taking people deeper and deeper to where they could actually see the reality of the things that are going on.
Right. Wow.
So
That's incredible.
yeah, so tell us the name of your book and maybe where people can, connect with you, or
Yeah, absolutely. My book is called To Tell the Truth, and it's Hope Beryl-Green. The best way to connect with me is I have a website. It's hopeberyl-green.com. I love to tell my story. Anytime I have an opportunity, it's all about who He is and how He can rescue anybody from anything. But I would love to connect. That's the best way to reach out to me.
Great.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
We totally appreciate it. If you're in LA, hit us up, and
Absolutely.
we'll take you out to eat or something.
I would love that.
Yeah.
My husband really loved that.
Okay, yeah, we like doing that.
Right. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, and you guys will be back with another guest. So, catch you later.